plus the cold storage from Trinidad. Everybody needs to come out and stand up to support one another because it's an impact on everybody in Trinidad and Tobago.
Business owners are calling for sailings to return to a 5 times weekly schedule.
Meanwhile, Transport Minister Eli Zakura says a weekly schedule for the Blue Wave Harmony will be released on Friday.
Zakura made the announcement in the Senate today as he responded to Opposition Senator Melanie Roberts-Rajman, who asked when sea trials would end and a regular schedule published. Roberts-Rajman said the inconsistent sailings has been threatening Tobago's economy. Zakura could not say how long the ferry would take from one port to another, but promised to submit the answer in writing at a later date.
Well, on the back of those stories and responses, today we asked, are you satisfied with the authorities' actions to resolve the Tobago cargo crisis?
Here's what some of you had to say.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
I think that they're doing as much as they could now, given these circumstances. I mean, it was just a series of unfortunate circumstances that found us where we are at now. I mean, I think in retrospect, a lot more could have been done from the planning aspect, but we are where we are, and I think they're just doing what they could now at this point, and hopefully it gets resolved.
I think they need to do more. The boat is not running properly, the Blue Wave or whatever it is. Then before that we had a lot of losses because when the vans and they came down to go on the boat, they changed just some of the days, some of the time when they reach days when they know, okay, no sailing this morning.
To me, this situation exposes a deeper and a wider issue, right? The issue of food security, right? And another issue of really internal, we like to use autonomizing ourselves.
I believe that the government is doing the best that they can do. I said that because of what I can remember previously when cement and all things and big stone was thrown in. A vessel we had was giving problem as you fix one thing, another thing gone wrong.
It's not fair to the people who travel in, the customers who travel in on the boat. And as a small businessman, we feeling the effects. Because when I can't get my goods, I can't sell. And I can't do a turnover properly. So it's not fair at all. They need to do something. THA need to step in and call on central government to do something better.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
In tonight's Business Watch, there's yet another shakeup in the construction sector. As 2 weeks after increasing the price of its cement, Trinidad Cement Limited has announced the closure of its subsidiary, Ready Mix Limited.
Peter Christopher tells us more.
In a notice posted to the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange on Tuesday, Trinidad Cement Limited confirms that following a written resolution of the Board of Directors of its subsidiary, Ready Mix West Indies Limited, dated Wednesday, February 18, 2026, the directors of Ready Mix Limited considered and unanimously agreed to permanently cease the company's aggregate and ready mix operations. When contacted, TCL issued a statement in which the company says this decision follows an extensive business evaluation initiated in response to decreased sales, escalated operational costs, and increased capital expenditure requirements that have adversely affected the company's profitability. The company adds, as a result of the permanent closure of Ready Mix Limited, all employees will regrettably be made redundant effective March 31st. Ready Mix Limited is committed to conducting this process with compassion and respect, ensuring full compliance with all relevant labor laws and providing support, guidance, and appropriate assistance to staff throughout the period. The statement from the company closes. Ready Mix Limited appreciates its long-standing role in the construction sector and thanks employees, customers, and partners for their ongoing dedication and support over the years. End quote. Ready Mix specializes in the production of concrete, aggregate, and pitron, and also owns a number of quarries in Trinidad. The announcement comes just under a month after TCL General Manager Gonzalo Rida Castillo warned that the proposed natural gas hike by the National Gas Company would have a significant effect on operations and lead to cement price increases. That cement price increase took effect on the 9th of February. Meanwhile, the Oilfield Workers Trade Union is expected to meet with Ready Mix's management at 1 p.m. on Thursday. On Monday, OWTU President General Ansel Roger and the executive of the OWTU met with Ready Mix workers in the wake of the decision by the board to wind up the company's operations. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Peter Christopher, CNC3 Business Watch.
Let's tell you what's still to come in the news. A national is sentenced in the U.S. for smuggling more than 200 firearms into this country using a punching bag.
Mom, Dad, this is Trevor.
Hi. He's no Kieran. Back up.
Fling? That's why he crossed the road. It was funny when Kieran said it.
Ooh, who could that be?
We're like the parents who don't miss your ex.
I can't believe Kieran is in the neighborhood.
CG United. Good like that.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Trinidad, the season of wins is here at Passat's The Food King and Bright Ideas. One season, many chances, big wins. From premium Le Roi chocolates to Moet champagne and fine wine to booming sound systems, fully loaded coolers, and even 50-inch smart TVs. Here's how you can enter to win. For every $300 spent at Passat's The Food King or Bright Ideas, you receive one entry form, fill it out, and drop it in the entry box. Weekly Carnival Cooler Line draws every Saturday and one massive grand finale. The season of wins ends on February 26th and the Grand Carnival draw on Saturday, February 28th. Shop, enter, and win in the season of wins.
Quality value, that's our way. The real Bushfire, we're here to stay. The Food King Bushfire.
During Ramadan, fasting begins before dawn for the Muslim community. To support your body through the day, there's Astamin. Halal and certified by the Darul Uloom Institute, it's a name you can trust. With essential amino acids and multivitamins, Astamin boosts energy, immunity, and mental focus, helping you fast until sunset. Power up by adding Astamin during your pre-dawn meal this Ramadan. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
Alejandro! What are you?
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Now let's return turn to the Prime Minister's address to Caricom, which finished only moments ago. While Kamala Prasad-Bisesa pledged this country's commitment to Caricom, her address defended her controversial stance on issues ranging from her admonishment of the Nicolas Maduro regime and his support for the United States.
In the presence of the regional leaders, the Prime Minister thanked U.S. President Donald Trump for his support in arresting this country's high murder rate.
Maybe in your islands you don't have the kind of crime we have. I know Prime Minister Ocelot, we tried to pass the Ocelot bill in Trinidad. We were not as fortunate as you in the Parliament, but I know you have done well with your murder rate. So some of us, the crime is so bad. I cannot depend on just my military, my protective services, and certainly from you in the CARICOM, many of you do not have military or large police services to help us down there. So again, I repeat, you know, in Trinidad there's a saying, who vex loss? But we gained.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also admonished the CARICOM Secretariat for not responding to a letter she sent questioning the circumstances surrounding the so-called kidnapping of Trinidad and Tobago citizen Brent Thomas.
The Prime Minister also criticized CARICOM governments who, she said, actively involve themselves in the domestic and political affairs of member states to assist certain political parties.
I'm sorry I have to share this, but it hurt me a lot when I saw what transpired within the last set of elections in the CARICOM. So CARICOM governments, if we are to hug up each other and cooperate, it cannot be that last week you sent your person down to St. Vincent or to Jamaica or to wherever, or to Guyana. You sent your political persons, not technocrats. You sent them down to campaign. I don't think that is right, because today I will have to face you. We are not red and we are not yellow, we are not blue, we are not green. We are all CARICOM persons.
A TNT national has been sentenced in the United States for smuggling over 200 firearms into this country.
36-year-old Shem Wayne Alexander of Port of Spain will serve 4 years and 9 months in federal prison. Alexander had pleaded guilty to conspiring to smuggle firearms from Florida to Trinidad and Tobago between 2019 and 2022. Authorities say more than 200 guns were trafficked. In April of 2021, local police and customs intercepted a shipment at Piarco Airport, hidden inside 2 punching bags with pistols, revolvers, a shotgun, AR-15 parts, magazines, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. The case was investigated by U.S. Homeland Security alongside agencies in Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica.
Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander is assuring the public tonight that government has no plans to restrict citizens from sharing video footage of police-involved incidents. Following public outcry over the fatal police shooting of Joshua Samaru and support from a High Court judge for recording police conduct, Alexander had previously questioned placing such footage in the public domain. However, he now says there will be no legislation against sharing. The minister went on to urge citizens to first provide that footage to the TTPS to assist with investigations.
It is not the government's intention to introduce legislation prohibiting, regulating, or otherwise altering the public's ability to release, share, or publish footage of police-involved incidents. It is strongly advised that any such footage be provided in the first instance to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Alexander said police can use a warrant to obtain footage from anyone unwilling to share it. In crime news, the mother of 30-year-old Justin Batiste is disputing the police's account of his fatal shooting in North Manzanilla.
Lucille Batiste claims her son was targeted at his home and was already dead before officers took him to hospital. She said Justin had been living on a piece of land given to him by a family friend where he built a small shack and farmed.
Police say Justin was seen on a roadway around 4:30 a.m. yesterday holding a firearm and fled when officers approached him. They report that officers fearing for their lives shot him. He was later pronounced dead at the Sangre Grande Hospital.
Justin's mother alleges a local man had been threatening him and claims the man has relatives in the police service.
And there was a certain gentleman inside there who had been threatening my son, right? And what I understand that the gentleman and the police and them was connected. So I need to know what transfer there is. It's a police shooting, what they was doing there at that time in the morning, what transfer. Right now I don't get the answer, and I need to know what was transferred that morning. I will plead the commissioner again.
Investigations are continuing. Well, Opposition Senator Faris Arawi is rejecting claims by the Homeland Security Minister that the recent spike in murders could have been avoided had the opposition supported the proposed Zoso bill. Responding to questions outside of Parliament today, Arawi dismissed Roger Alexander's criticism and argued that the minister's reasoning does not stand up to scrutiny. Alexander had recently accused the opposition of failing to support the Zones of Special Operations bill. The government contended that the legislation would provide enhanced powers to security forces in designated high-crime areas. The minister suggested that the bill's defeat contributed to the current uptick in violent crime. But Al-Rawi fired back, saying the core elements of the proposed law are already operationally possible without special legislation.
What is stopping Minister Alexander from inviting the Commissioner of Police and the CDS to do a joint patrol anywhere in this country that is considered to be a zone, a hotspot, anywhere, and have the police arrest people instead of the army? Absolutely nothing. So when you analyze what the Zozo was giving you and what you can do, his statement is absolute rubbish.
Meanwhile, Independent Senator Courtney McNish suggested that rather than assigning blame, the government should revisit the proposed amendments and return the bill to Parliament.
If he thinks that the Zozo bill, or the absence thereof, is responsible for upticking crime, I suppose he has statistics that he's relying on. I am unaware of those stats. As I said before, I support the concept in the bill. I support the objectives of the bill. I really wish the government brings back the bill, look at some of the amendments that the independents have put forward, and let's get the bill passed.
The Zoso bill was piloted by government as part of its anti-crime strategy. However, it collapsed after failing to secure the necessary support from opposition and independent senators.
Despite a $20,000 fine for lighting illegal fires, the local government minister questions whether anyone has ever been charged.
Noting that dry season is bushfire season, Khadija Amin says there's a serious problem with enforcement in this country. She was speaking at the first ever bushfire conference in TNT held at the Chaguanas Borough Corporation. The minister lamented that bushfires are not just a concern for the authorities, but a hazard that destroys people's lands, homes, and livelihoods. And she admits the majority are preventable. That's why all local government stakeholders are coming together to form a national strategy, shifting the approach from reaction to prevention. But while they work on bushfire early warning systems, she called for greater enforcement.
There is a fine of $20,000 for lighting an illegal fire. I would really be interested to see your data from fire services in terms of how often people are charged. And so many times you see a fire out, you can't even identify who the perpetrator is, but I know you all have your investigative mechanisms.
With a national coordinated effort, including civil society organizations, the minister says the aim is to significantly reduce bushfires. She admits most causes are preventable, pointing to burning or clearing of lands, prolonged dry spells, illegal dumping, and even lighted cigarettes. There's a plan to look at how other countries experiencing bush and forest fires implement response mechanisms and align with their best practices.
Our people do not have a culture of following the law and safety. They just do what they want. They drink a soft drink, they throw the bottle there, and it have a garbage bin close by. So even when our local government bodies, the borough, go and put nice garbage bins, you get sponsors, you have nice programs, the garbage bin right there, and they throw the stuff in the drain. It goes down inside the drain and contributes to flooding.
The minister says local government corporations will be working on risk maps to determine which areas are most susceptible to bushfires and work on building fire-ready communities.
How is the Sahara dust treating you, Ree?
I have a sniffly nose and Ryan, I can hear it. It's taking your voice away.
I've been drinking it all day because I spent a lot of time outside today. So
oh dear, well John Mark is not with us this afternoon.
Well, probably it's affecting him as well.
Maybe.
But we hope that everyone out there stays safe from the Sahara dust, especially if he has respiratory problems. All right, let's check in with the weather forecast now. The Met Office says that tomorrow will be a generally fair day with hazy and breezy conditions. A significant concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere, so sensitive groups should take necessary precautions. A hazardous seas alert effect goes into effect at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Tomorrow's maximum forecast temperature in Trinidad is 31 degrees Celsius and in Tobago it's 30. Seas are moderate with waves reaching up to 2.5 meters in open waters and near 1 meter, occasionally choppy in sheltered areas.
All right, well, still to come in the news. Papute, the Ocelot, undergoes surgery. Vets hope for recovery as authorities warn of penalties for harming protected species.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, itis. But what does itis really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
itis really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Get a free pair of polarized sunglasses with the purchase of new Gen S Transitions lenses with anti-reflective coating and frames. Selected designer frames now just $4.99 with additional promotions. Hurry, limited time only at Seaview Optical.
Your immune system is your first line of defense. Discover BioStrath Immune Health. BioStrath Immune Health is enriched with zinc, ensuring that your body stays resilient. BioStrath Immune Health. Get what you need naturally.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
An Ocelot is fighting for its life after being shot in what officials are calling a serious violation of the country's environmental protection laws.
The feline, now named Papute, is currently recovering at a Laramine veterinary clinic following emergency surgery over the weekend.
Ivan Tulsi and Otto Carrington have this story.
This is Papute, the Ocelot. He was shot, left for dead, and is now fighting for his life. His story started on Sunday after someone reported seeing him injured at the side of the road in Rio Claro. Forestry officials, led by Game Warden Steve Posar, took him to Laramine Veterinary Clinic, where he went into surgery to remove the bullet from his neck.
Because the person who did this is not a person out there trying to hunt the animal for meat or for livelihood. This is somebody who just did this for pure evil. So I don't want to call that person a hunter, I prefer call them a poacher. I'm no ballistic expert, but from my little experience, what we see in it is not a standard hunter shot, but it looks like it might be the remnant of a 9mm shot.
Since the surgery, Papute is more alert, experiencing less pain, and has no swelling at the surgical site. However, Dr. Singh warned he's not out of the woods yet, medically speaking.
If we do the CT scan, we'll get 3D rendering images of it to see if there's any more fragments that are directly affecting the spine that we should go in and remove. We're going to be here for as long as it takes to either get him better or for us to know what is the outcome of him. And I'm hoping everybody prays for him.
As an apex predator, the species plays a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance in Trinidad and Tobago by regulating prey populations. Otto Carrington, CNC3 News.
Both the Minister of Agriculture and the EMA are reminding the public that the ocelot is an environmentally sensitive species protected under the Environmental Management Act.
Hunting an environmentally protected species carries a fine of $100,000 and up to 2 years in prison.
And the Hunter Search and Rescue Captain Valence Rambarat described the situation as deeply concerning. He suggested that the ocelot may have been shot either by an inexperienced hunter or by a farmer attempting to protect livestock.
Rambarat emphasized that seasoned hunters are well aware that the ocelot is a fully protected species throughout the year and any interference carries substantial fines.
Orion Jassy is back from a very rare adventure after the FIFA World Cup trophy tour in Colombia. Jassy, how was that?
Yeah, certainly it was almost like a game of hide and seek, but in the end it was well worth the chase. I'll take you along on the journey and also give you an update on concerns of one of the World Cup's host countries. Stick around, sport is next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Dress like you mean business. At The Working Woman, we bring you stylish, professional looks made for the modern woman. From casual to formal workwear, we've got your professional wardrobe covered.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Pain. So like I have no pain since using Omega XL.
For those who try Omega XL and they say it didn't work, try it again.
Remember, you deserve the best. Choose Omega XL.
Welcome back. It's time for sport. The West Indies women will open the 2026 ICC Women's T20 World Cup against holders New Zealand on June 13th in their quest for a second title. The women in maroon have been drawn in Group 2 of the biennial tournament in England and Wales, set to run from June 12th to July 5th. The 5-team group includes the reigning champions, inaugural winners England, Sri Lanka, Ireland and Scotland. The West Indies women won the 2016 tournament in India, defeating Australia in that memorable final. Meanwhile, the women in maroon are also aiming to rebound from back-to-back defeats against Sri Lanka, who are on tour of the Caribbean for 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20s. Sri Lanka has already won the ODI series on account of a 10-run victory in Game 1, followed by a 14-run winning margin in Game 2. Former captain Stephanie Taylor has enjoyed a return to form, but pointed out what needs to be addressed from the team's perspective.
And as a group, we're going to discuss where we went wrong, where we need to improve, and I think for tomorrow's game, we just have to come out and give it our all. I thought in the second game, I thought the bowlers bowled really well to restrict them to that low total, the effort is going to be needed from all three aspects, from bowling, fielding, and batting. So it's just about putting all three of them together, and hopefully we come out on top.
Now, despite knocks of 27 and 66 in the first two matches, Taylor also put her hand up for not seeing her team through.
Well, I feel like in the first game, I should have stayed there until the end. However, I did try. It was just an unfortunate and misjudged run out. In the second game, wanted to actually stay there and bat, because it wasn't much runs, just 200 runs, and we lost the two openers quite early. So in the middle there, we know that Campbell, myself, and Chin have to try and take the team as deep as possible.
Game 3 is at 9:30 in the morning at Grenada's National Cricket Stadium in St. George's. Well, it's a story of all's well that ends well, as 2026 Pan American Elite Track Cycling gold medalist Tennille Campbell has recovered her race bike within hours of losing it. At 5 a.m. this morning, the Trinidad and Tobago Cycling Federation offered a reward for the bike in its Scion travel case, noting that it was misplaced somewhere between Val Park and Caroni between the hours of 2:30 and 3:30 a.m. today. At 11:56, the Federation, via its media WhatsApp group, advised that the bike had been found and arrangements were being made to return it to the national athlete. The bike's Scion brand travel case itself retails at between $1,000 and $2,000 while the felt bike's suggested retail price is $9,500 or roughly 64,000 TT dollars. Thank God she was able to recover that bike. Trinidad and Tobago's under-20s began their CONCACAF under-20 qualifying campaign with a 2-all result in their match against Bermuda in Costa Rica a short while ago. Trinidad and Tobago had the better of the early exchanges. In the 22nd minute, Philip Nelson saw his shot stopped, and Darrell Garcia saw his blast fly over the crossbar. Garcia had another golden opportunity in the 32nd, but he could not find the net once more. Now, despite being on the back foot, it was actually the Bermudans who found the opening goal after a brilliant pass and easy finish. Trinidad and Tobago did well to draw level via an own goal before Dominic Joseph put the young Warriors ahead for the first time in the match in the 79th minute. Bermuda eventually scored an 84th minute equalizer to earn a share of the points. We'll have the full results and highlights from matches in that tournament in tomorrow's Sportcast. Well, on its way from the hands of current holders to its next owners, the FIFA World Cup trophy will visit more than 70 countries across the globe. Guardian Media Limited went along on one of the Coca-Cola World Cup trophy tour's recent stops in Bogota, Colombia. Since January 3rd, the iconic FIFA World Cup trophy has been on a global tour. It will make 75 stops in 150 days leading up to the showpiece this June and July. And while it will not visit the Caribbean, Bogota, Colombia offered an opportunity for a group of Caribbean journalists, including yours truly. Outside the Corferias, a massive conference and event space, the sidewalks were buzzing in anticipation of the original trophy display.
We've arrived at the building where the World Cup trophy is being hosted this morning. It's called the Corferias, and as you can see behind, there's quite a lot of action happening, a lot of activity. Colombians have come out in their numbers to witness this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We'll take you inside so you can be a bit closer to it as well.
Inside, Coca-Cola's exhibition was dedicated to specially invited guests and hundreds of media personnel from Colombia, wider Latin America and the Caribbean, including Trinidad and Tobago, the Dominican Republic and Curacao. The immersive tour experience was a sensory delight, perhaps even a bit of an overload, but in a good way. In something out of a Willy Wonka storyline, guests went along an interactive walkthrough, each room offering life-sized displays of trophy, World Cup and FIFA history, which of course Trinidad and Tobago is also woven into. Wondering what was behind each curtain kept anticipation at its peak.
So in the words of Fabrizio Romano, here we go.
Inside this dome-shaped room, a projected stadium experience and a digital preview of the official World Cup ball.
So that was really breathtaking, a fantastic display there of all things World Cup, all things Coca-Cola. We continue our journey. We have not sighted the trophy just yet. Maybe it's beyond those curtains over there. We'll find out.
But still, no trophy in sight. Instead, a physical introduction to the official World Cup ball, this year called the Adidas Triunda, and a nod to some of the classics of yesteryear like the Tango from Argentina 1978 to the Teamgeist Germany 2006, Russia 2018's Telstar and Al Rila from Qatar 2022 and everyone in between. But still, no World Cup trophy. Instead, this peculiar showcase of Coca-Cola's own evolution from its bottling to transportation, packaging, and of course World Cup mementos and trinkets through the years. But still, no World Cup trophy just yet. Instead, a room filled with vintage and modern-day team kits, and one wrapped with a 360-degree video wall reliving iconic moments of the competition's history. Dancing mascots even, but still, you guessed it, until finally we entered the conference hall to a distinct Colombian beat, where we also met a few local celebrities and influencers, one former World Cup winner from the legendary France 1998 team, David Trezeguet, and finally, one original FIFA World Cup trophy.
All right, so earlier the World Cup trophy, the original FIFA World Cup trophy, mind you, was presented by senior officials of Coca-Cola from the Americas, as well as France 1998 World Cup winner David Trezeguet. He's on stage right now and, of course, just conducting an interview, and there behind me is the trophy. That is perhaps as close as we will get to the original trophy. Fun fact, earlier Trezeguet would have hoisted the World Cup trophy. He, as well as former World Cup winners, are among a very select few that are privileged enough to put their hands on the World Cup trophy. So I'm not going to get much closer. I'm certainly not going to get to touch it. But I hope that this suffices for you, our audience, to get up close and personal, or as close as possible, to the FIFA World Cup trophy.
Now, it would be an absolute travesty to fly all the way to Bogota and not get closer. So eventually, members of the media, quite hurriedly so, did get their once-in-a-lifetime chance.
So after all, we did get our opportunity to get up close and personal with the World Cup trophy. It concludes a really fantastic experience here, courtesy Coca-Cola in Bogota, Colombia. Jassy Marik, CNC3 Sports.
I did get very close. It was encased, as you saw there, but unable to touch it. Maybe one day some descendant of mine may be a World Cup winner. Who knows? Now let's take a look at what featured in tonight's International Sport Roundup.
Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum says there's no risk to the country's hosting of 13 matches for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, despite the recent eruption of cartel violence following the death of Jalisco New Generation leader Nemesio Oseguera. Sheinbaum says the situation is stabilizing and authorities are restoring order. Mexico is scheduled to host 13 matches, with the tournament set to kick off on June 11th this year. The US and Canada also hosting. In cricket, England have advanced to the T20 World Cup semi-finals with a 2-wicket win over Pakistan earlier today. Pakistan posted 164 for 9 after winning the toss and batting first, with Sahib Sada Farhan scoring 63 of 45 balls. In reply, Captain Harry Brook led from the front with a superb century of 51 deliveries to guide England home. Despite a 4-wicket effort from Shaheen Afridi, England will face New Zealand in Friday's semi-final, while the West Indies meet South Africa on Thursday. In football, football, Benfica winger Gianluca Cristiani has been handed a provisional one-match suspension by UEFA after Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. alleged racist abuse during last week's Champions League clash in Lisbon. The ban means the Argentine is set to miss Wednesday's return in Madrid, pending the outcome of a full investigation. Cristiani has denied the allegation, and Benfica say they will appeal the decision. Boxing legends Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather have agreed to a rematch on September 19th at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Pacquiao, 47, and Mayweather, 48, first met in 2015 in the so-called Fight of the Century, where Mayweather won by unanimous decision. The American remains unbeaten in 50 professional fights. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
And now Boston Celtics point guard Peyton Pritchard sits us down for tonight's Sport High.
The Celtics were in action against the Los Angeles Lakers when Peyton Pritchard decided to take Jared Vanderbilt straight to dance class. Vanderbilt simply could not handle Pritchard's spicy moves, begging for an easier step on the hard court. So Pritchard, for that smooth cha-cha slide, you've earned tonight's CNC3's Sport High.
Jesse, what an amazing experience. I mean, I feel like you were on set one night and the next day you were in Colombia. And I mean, just to be in the presence of the trophy
I think so. Such
is
an
in
historical
itself.
trophy.
So, I mean, let me touch you. That is so cool. And
yeah, it really was an enjoyable experience. I'm so thankful for it. And as you would have heard in the story, not very many people get to touch the World Cup trophy, let alone get that close. So I'm certainly counting myself very lucky indeed.
Wow.
Well, one day we were hoping that you would lift the World Cup trophy. At least you got to touch it.
Yeah, close enough.
Great either way. Thank you so much, Jassy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
In international news, the Netherlands has a new leader.
38-year-old Rob Yetten was formally sworn in by King Willem-Alexander at the Heestenbos Palace in The Hague. The centrist becomes the country's youngest ever prime minister and the first to be openly gay. His Democrats' 66 party secured a narrow victory in October's nail-biting election. Yetten now leads a center-right minority government in coalition with the People's Party for Freedom and Democracy and the Christian Democratic Alliance. He succeeds Dick Schoof, whose administration was one of the shortest lived in Dutch history. And in a world-first breakthrough in medical science, a baby has been born in the UK after a womb transplant from a deceased donor.
The boy, named Hugo, arrived just before Christmas at Queen Charlotte's and Chelsea Hospital in London, weighing nearly 7 pounds. Grace Bell, who was born without a womb due to a rare condition, carried the pregnancy after receiving the transplant. Surgeons say the success could open the door for many women who previously had no option to carry a child. Grace described her son as simply a miracle and expressed deep gratitude to the donor family for their life-changing gift. Doctors involved call this a major step forward in reproductive medicine, with trials underway to see if deceased donor womb transplants could become a standard treatment.
From here, let's take another break. We'll be right back.
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts. Use of credible sources and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more. The Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago says no decision has been taken on the continued circulation of the 5-cent coin. However, the bank confirms the option is under active consideration, as it costs 24 cents to produce a single 5-cent coin. This, the bank notes, mirrors the situation faced with the 1-cent coin, which was removed from circulation in 2017 after production costs rose to 21 cents per coin. The central bank says once a final decision is made, the public will be informed and a smooth transition ensured, including clear arrangements for redeeming any existing 5-cent coins. Well, it's time to recap our headlines. As Caricom's 50th meeting kicks off, Jamaica's Prime Minister acknowledges the regional bloc's differences, but says divergent views on geopolitics strengthen them.
Opposition cautiously optimistic about Prime Minister's meeting with U.S. Secretary of State.
In sport, the West Indies women set to open their T20 World Cup campaign against holders New Zealand.
As we leave you, let's remind you to stay connected with us on our social media platforms.
There you'll find tonight's stories, the latest updates and exclusive content. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the TNT Guardian newspaper.
We've come to the end of the 7 p.m. news here on CNC3. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Ramble.
I'm Ryan Bechu.
And I am Jassy Marik. Have a good night.
You're watching